it's taken me a long journey to get here, through a lot of, different relationships prior to meeting Wendy when I was younger. And then the journey, we were married 24 years before she, which I'll share maybe later a little bit more in depth, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor and was on that odyssey for 2 years and eventually passed on, which also really changed my life, changed her life, changed our relationship. It brought us, in a weird way, much deeper. So even though it was a devastating experience and loss emotionally when she passed, it's taught me that life is so precious. And that's a big reason why I'm here doing what I'm doing today, Michelle, is because I've been down many roads of pain. And for the most part, due to the systems and techniques that have come about over time that I've either learned or developed, I'm no longer down that well of despair. And I'm on a trajectory of more joy than I've ever known. But it's taken, as I said, a long time to get there. And, maybe in the course of the conversation, I'll get into that for sure. The piece I want to say right off the bat for couples or for single women or folks who are wanting to deepen their relationship, the secret, I think, of all secrets is to have no secrets.
Mm. Say more about that.
Yeah. So it is, sometimes we feel like, oh, it's better I don't share about some issue I'm dealing with about myself. Let's say, like, as a guy, like it might be, I have maybe some insecurities about maybe a business that I want to do or my own stuff and negative voices in the head. Or for females, very often as I'm working with women and coaching them, they share with me about, very typically, there's negative voices about the looks. I don't feel beautiful enough. I think, since I gained that extra 5 pounds or whatever, I think my man isn't as into me. Not from what you're experiencing, but what's going on in your head. Mm-hmm. And these are the things to really look at and get. And then what I mean to have no secrets is to be emotionally naked, emotionally transparent, emotionally vulnerable. And you would think like, oh, I don't want to expose myself. What I find is what that does is bring the couple together. It brings to more depth because let's face it, no matter who we are, we got stuff, and the more we protect it, then in a way it cuts off our heart from our own self and from our partner. And it's be vulnerable, get vulnerable, that game Ali Ali Unkum Free. I don't know if I said that right, but it's kind of like you hide and seek, right? And get caught. So I'm telling you, it's not, the winning isn't by not people finding you. The winning is get caught, expose yourself, almost learn to roast yourself in a way to share your vulnerability. And then from a place, not from just saying it and just leaving it there, but from I hope the intention is to say, I really want to turn this around. And this is why I'm sharing it with you. And maybe you have some insight into that. Maybe we together can work this through so I can have a better life and we can have a better life because I know I'm going more on than I wanted to in just this answer, but I'm just going to share this other piece. Think about this. Okay, so let's say you're on a date, either with your partner or on a date. Okay, and I'm speaking to the women here. And during the dinner, let's say you go to the bathroom to go primp yourself and all of that, and you're feeling great, you're looking great, but then all of a sudden, while you're still looking in the mirror, some voice says, "Oh, you're really not that beautiful today, your hair is not looking so great," or something like that. And in a split second, it happens. And in that split second, if you're not aware of how to turn that inside out, most people bite into it. I call it like my jargon, like biting into that poisoned apple. And then what usually happens, right, Michelle, is like a heaviness comes on. Mm-hmm. and you went into the bathroom feeling juicy, feeling great, you're laughing with your partner or your date, and then you leave, moments later, a little bit heavier and not feeling as juicy. Now, your partner or your date may or may not pick it up energetically. But if you don't have this intimacy and this transparency and a connection with your partner or your date may not know how to even deal with it, or maybe just kind of like put it under the table in a sense, be aware of it. But that what I'm getting at too, your partner may be thinking, before all this happened, I really am hoping we are physical tonight and, being sensual. And this experience could ruin the night for you as a woman. Just that one little doubt, you all of a sudden, many women tell me like they feel like they're just dried up, and it doesn't matter even what he does or tries to, and you may have sensual pleasure after, and it may not be as stimulating or as wonderful, and it all started back in the bathroom with that one thought. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is this making sense at all so far?
It is, and there's a couple of things I'd like to just piggyback on just for a second.
Sure.
One piece that really stood out for me was when you talked about having no secrets, and I know that when we talk about being vulnerable, that feels really, really scary because I think deep inside we all have these feelings that if anyone really knew all my secrets, or if anyone really knew all of my flaws, all of my failings, or all of my mistakes, or whatever it is, my imperfections, some of which may be real and some of which are
right.
They're not actually real, then it feels like we want to put on this front that everything's perfect, that we're perfect. And so it feels scary to show that vulnerability because we fear rejection if we show those less than perfect, what we deem as less than perfect sides of ourselves.
Yes.
One of the things that I have learned is that showing that vulnerability and sharing some of the fears and dreams and hopes, because I think our vulnerability is not just our weaknesses or our fears or our imperfections, but also being willing to share our biggest dreams and our biggest hopes and our desires and our biggest wants and needs. When we share that, then it also makes it safer for our partner or for a date or for someone that we're getting to know to share more with us. It makes us more relatable, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right?
Most definitely.
And so what we think is protecting us is actually isolating us or blocking us.
Oh, for sure. And it's, we all have those nerves, and that protection. But, think about it. Think of your friends, just friends who, there may be some more than others who just lay it out. They're not perfect and they accept their imperfections. And in many cases, they're probably playful with their own challenges or whatever. But there's a safety there with them. There's like a comfort that, when you talk to this person, you can go anywhere with them because they're there. They're there in their own life. So I'm not saying you do it all at one time. And I'm also saying too, that check the waters out, because this is part of, especially women who are dating, this is part of the testing, the trying out period of where this person is willing to go. And if they're not willing or wanting to go to that depth, then that is I would say a red flag in that process to go. Because if you really want that, then if they're just like, no, I don't talk about my emotions, I don't want to hear about them, blah, 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 you go, oh, that's great, because that helps you sort out the men who aren't really for you.
Right.
Okay. So, and again, by exposing these things, and I said, not necessarily all at once and all of that, but there's when you can do that, there's a letdown of the guard, and actually the friendship and the intimacy emotionally will grow so much quicker, and you will feel a deeper connection with them. And I want to say to the women, because this is, and again, as a guy, and I get it. I'm a little different. I know that as a guy, I'm more heart-centered than many are. But I'm still a guy. Okay. And what I mean by that, physical connection, sensuality, and physical connection, making love is very important to me. And so for a guy, for most guys, that's the way for most guys to their heart. Okay. So if they're feeling a sensual connection with their partner, then that often opens their heart to be vulnerable. Now, I know for many women, the roles reverse. Like first they have to feel that safety. I get that. And then they'll feel open. But think about if you're protecting yourself, then there's a non-verbal communication that when you are physical, that the man hasn't met you yet there. You might have great passionate sex, but I'm talking about making love. I'm talking about deep connection. And you're going to get that deep connection based on the depth of your emotional sharing. There's a relationship. The more you are emotionally vulnerable, it equals how you are physically, sensually vulnerable, and how the two as a couple will blend. So oftentimes, when I'm meeting up with folks who are challenged or they share with me, yeah, we haven't made love for 10 years now, or things like that when they come to me as for coaching, immediately, I already know what's going on there. I don't focus in on that physical stuff. We got to get to the emotional things. What's blocking there? Why are you scared? What's happening there? And let's begin to turn it around. As I said, the pacing isn't important. How much you share isn't important, but it's just the intention, that desire, that willingness to be naked, and to, be that honest transparency. There's nothing more beautiful. I mean, I speak as a man. There's nothing more beautiful to receive his partner that she's honest. I'm dealing with this stuff, blah, 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 whatever it is. Because he's going to go, well, I'm dealing with this stuff. And what better way to deepen a friendship and have a friendship? Because that's what we got. That's the base root of a relationship, right? Especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship. You got to have a great friendship. So, and to play. So there's nothing wrong with this. I know it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. And the more you do it, the less scared you get. And also, ladies, the more you do it, the more confidence you have to go, damn, I want a guy who's willing to, expose his foibles and in a playful way, because it feels good to me when I've done it. Mm-hmm. And a last piece with that, I say in this regard, as one little wrap up of this present, most couples, right, instead of, you can have one way of when challenges happen or to not reveal yourselves, it's kind of like you can run away from it. A challenges happen and you kind of push it under the table, or people go, we're so proud. We've been together 15 years and we never had an argument. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you need an argument. Right. And what I mean by this, when a challenges happen, or vulnerability comes in your heart, I say snuggle up to it. Don't run from it. Because doing that, it creates a feeling of connection, almost like two people that are in the trenches of war. And when you're willing to go in there and say, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I want to grow here. I want to grow. I want to grow. I want this relationship to grow. There is a bond that happens that it's unbreakable when you go there. So what I'm saying is there's a lot to gain by being emotionally available and emotionally vulnerable. And I know that people probably listening to this, conversation we're having have been in relationships, have had scar tissue of a broken heart. I've had a broken heart. I myself, and I go, so what? That's part of the process. But the more we're willing to live on that knife edge of love, the more, yes, we're going to be vulnerable, but we're also more available to feel more. So it's okay. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And there's tools and techniques and ways to get over the challenges, that you don't sustain them and hold on to them forever. So sorry, I went on a tangent there, but I just...
I love that. And I think one of the challenges for myself and for many of the women that I work with, Cary, is that we were brought up in this day and age where, I am woman, hear me roar. And we were taught to be very independent, very self-sufficient, and perhaps to become very immersed and involved in our careers. We've gone out there and succeeded in those ways. And some of that is very, very good.
Yes.
But I know, even though I've always thought of myself as being a very feminine woman, I know that in some of my interactions as a single woman with men, I did show up as rather invulnerable. Like I wanted to impress them with how accomplished, how independent, how self-sufficient I was, right? And in so doing, they were impressed with me. They weren't falling in love with me. That was
wow.
That was an experience for me, and I think that happens for a lot of women. We get in this what I like to call masculine energy, where we're very goal oriented and focused and outcome oriented, and that works great in our professional lives.
Right.
It doesn't always translate so well into our personal lives. And then the women, and myself included, were screaming inside, but I don't want to be less than what I am. I am who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and I've worked really, really hard to get here. And so what I've learned is to what I like to call dance in the feminine grace, which is that, yes, there are certain aspects of my life where that works really well. My business, for example, in many ways, even though it's a heart-centered business, there are still goals and objectives and deadlines and things that I have to meet. But I can soften that and be just more in that place of lightness and joy and fun, and intentionally create a bit of an energetic shift when my husband comes home for the day. At least take time to acknowledge him, give him a hug, tell him I'm glad to see him, maybe enjoy a little dinner together and laugh a little bit and have a little conversation. So I wonder if you can speak a little bit from the male perspective on this, and how this whole masculine feminine thing works, because I know there's a lot of confusion and a lot of frustration around this in our roles and who we're supposed to show up as.
Yeah. Oh, it's so powerful, and so many people deal with this, Michelle. Yes, definitely. The piece that I see, and again, is women carry a level of sweetness that men don't have. Mm. We carry a level of sweetness, yes, but women, it's just like these beautiful roses behind you. And this is what men want. This is that missing link, the nourishment, the nurturance, that safe haven to know they're okay. They're whatever their day has been, or however, they can go to this person and their partner, and she's going to embrace him in his everything. And so there's this sweetness, the vulnerability, the understanding. So when you have that masculine side from the business side, that's fine. And that's great in terms of running your business or doing what you do in the professional world. But when it comes down to personal connection, guys, we don't care. We're not, I mean, we care, and we're impressed, with someone who's independent. But again, we don't need another business partner to sit across the table for us on a date. We're dealing with that all day long. We're wanting someone special, someone who's going to touch my heart, someone who gives me the reason to wake up in the morning and do the business that I do, because she looks at me and she's totally accepting and adoring and sharing her feminine beauty, her sweetness with me. So what I'm saying is there's a place for it, but tone it down. Allow your feminine femininity, allow your female energy to come out and be playful and have fun. And for some, it's almost like, I don't even know how to do that, you know? And I get that, but it's innate, it's in you, you know, and just keep asking for the divine, for that feminine to show, you know, and it'll be there, you know. Don't allow the guy to, plan certain dates, plan certain outings. Allow the guy, if he's meant and he goes this way, to open the door for you. But don't just let it happen. Say thank you every time. Take a moment, like if he opens the car door for you, you come in and you look at him before he turns on the ignition or presses the button now in our cars these days. Look at him. Go say, thank you. I appreciate that. Or put your hand on his arm and go, hey, I really appreciate that. Or on his thigh. Let it be known that you appreciate what he's doing for you. That's all we need. Something small. But boy, that's enough juice for the day. Okay?
Yeah. And I think as women, we don't always recognize how much that means to a man and how much it motivates him. I mean, I've come to believe as long as I'm treating my husband really well and appreciating all he does, I feel like he would try to move mountains for me. And It's such a simple thing, and it actually makes me feel really good to see that it makes him feel good.
Yes.
He is appreciated. And so it's something that can be really subtle. In fact, I'll just share one funny little thing with you, Cary, while we're on this topic.
Sure.
I've often thought about all of the games that men play, basketball, football, whatever. They're making points. They're running up and down a court or a field or whatever to make points, hockey, whatever the case may be. And so often I'll say to my husband when he does something sweet, just a little thing, he gets me a drink of water, whatever, I'll just say, honey, you made some extra hubby points. And, these are these imaginary points that mean absolutely nothing, but I swear he puts his shoulders back and we're so proud that he's earned hubby points.
Right?
And this could even translate into dating. You could say, oh, you really made some points with me by picking such a great place to eat. That was amazing. Whatever. Because men, psychologically in my husband's mind, he's saying, I won points.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And she's digging me because I'm digging her. Yes. Beautiful. So beautiful. Definitely.
Yeah, so let's shift gears a little bit into some of the specific work that I know you're doing right now, and this has to do with doubts, right?
Yes.
We talk about our doubts. We've talked a little bit about that already in this conversation and that nagging little voice and those doubts that come up. But why do you say that having our doubts is actually one of the best things that we can have? What do our doubts do for us? Yeah,
that's a great question. The doubts are our internal trainers. Okay. So let's use the example of the thought of I'm not beautiful enough. And it comes into your head. It's not necessarily you feel that. You might feel beautiful, but during your day or throughout many days or your life, you hear, oh, you're not beautiful. And so why is that a benefit? How can it be a benefit? Okay. So from my experience and my research and working with people, that I have found that what we hear in our head, the negative voice, is actually the opposite. It's trying to get us to acknowledge the opposite in ourselves. And it's trying to have us recognize it and accept it and check our resolve. And what I mean by that, Michelle, in a very funny way, if we look at the word doubt, and when I say doubts, I mean, that's the headline of the file, but that includes fears, insecurities, and the doubts, any of the negative stuff. So if we re-scramble the word doubt, you actually get two words, T-O-B-U-D, to bud, to grow, to blossom. And so the doubt is actually your friend. It's not your enemy. And it's trying for each one of us to acknowledge the love inside of ourselves. So if you hear I'm not beautiful, in your head, that silent voice, it's really trying to tell you how much is it going to take for you, whoever you are, to believe and put in the thought, you are beautiful. What's it going to take? Because when that thought happens that you're not beautiful, right, doesn't it feel heavy? It feels burdensome. Your energy starts to suppress, right? It's not, you don't feel passionate and ready to, go out and meet some guy and feel sexy, right? You generally
want to withdraw.
Right. So the piece here is that the words happen, and then if you didn't catch it right off the bat, then the feeling comes associated with it. They're a tag team, but it can all happen in the blink of an eye. But they're all still part of the same thing. It's just saying, hey, would you acknowledge me? Would you kind of accept me? And when we do this, and the system is in the book, that how to do this, and it's something I love to share with people, and it can change in a matter of seconds to minutes, this whole thing to biting down, going down the well of despair, and then coming back to a place of joy that you never had. So what I'm going to get to is you accept that voice that said, oh, you're not beautiful. It's simple as that. I accept it. And then if you had feelings associated with, then you can say, feelings are my friends. Like a mantra, feelings are my friends. Feelings are my friends. Not that you have to like them, not that you have to befriend them. No, but the awareness of the feelings are coming up so that you can transform it. Now, some people also, I use this mantra that I say, this is perfection. Meaning, again, you don't have to like it, but you had the thought of I'm not beautiful, and then you say, this is perfection. And what I mean by that, Michelle, is like, if some other thought was to have happened, it would have. Simple as that. It happened. I had this negative thought that appeared to be negative, that I'm not beautiful. It's beckoning me to catch it because for whatever reason, in the last 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years, or 50 years, I haven't believed I'm beautiful. And my inner trainer is trying to get me to feel beautiful. Now, there's a point to this. So once you say, feelings are my friends, feelings are my friends, feelings are my friends, like a mantra, you're going to notice the feelings internal start subsiding. And when they subside to out of 1 to 10, to a number 4 or less, now you can say the last piece, which is an anchor, which is what the whole point of this was for. And that is, it is to say the opposite of whatever the voice was. So it said, I'm not beautiful. And it's really saying, I am beautiful. Just for a moment, Michelle, just share that with me silently in your head. Like, I am beautiful now. I choose to feel beautiful now. How does that feel in your body?
It feels really good, and it feels really peaceful.
Yes.
And if I understand what you're saying, Cary, I just want to make sure I've got this.
Sure.
You're saying when the negative thought appears, or the doubt or the fear, whatever we want to call it, for this purpose, you don't resist it. You don't fight it, so to speak. You just are kind of present with it and observe it. And then you get to the feeling part of it, where you're feeling whatever emotion or whatever feeling. Sometimes it might be a pit in your stomach, whatever the case.
Most definitely. Yeah.
You're feeling whatever emotion or feeling is going on inside, and you're saying, feelings are my friend.
Yes.
Feelings are my friend as a mantra.
Yes.
And once you're with the feelings for a period of time, whatever that takes.
And usually what I'm saying, 30 seconds to 2 minutes maximum before you start feeling it shift. It'll start subsiding, but keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate that. And then you flip the thought around. So in this case, it would be, I am beautiful. I am beautiful now, whatever.
Yes. So I do have a specific verbiage, and I'll share with you real brief about that. Yes. And in a sentence, I choose to feel beautiful now.
I choose.
Yes. Because our subconscious is waiting our direction. And when you say, I choose, your subconscious goes, yeah, what's up? What do you need? What do you got for me? Because it doesn't have a sense of humor. It takes direct communication. So when you say, I choose, it listens. And then it's waiting for whatever the rest of you're saying. And when you say, I choose to feel beautiful, then it knows, okay, you're choosing this connection, and I'll say a divine connection. It awakens your divine connection inside of you. And then when you say now, it like pushes the button to engage. And all of a sudden, now you feel the opposite of that downward energy. You now start getting injected into your body, into your heart, into your energy, this juiciness, this effervescence, this inspiration, this excitement, this love for yourself. And any relationship is based on the love of the relationship, Michelle, is based on the love of the individuals involved. And can't you see that by just this one little thing, this one area of doubt, if you're getting bit by it constantly, of whether about your looks or your business or how the gaining of 5 pounds, or for guys, how much money we make and how big we are below the belt. Okay, there it is. That's our big Achilles heel. And sometimes how big we are below the belt is worse than how much money we're making. Okay, but when we as guys accept whatever size we are, it frees us up. And we get to enjoy our physical bodies more. And more than likely, our partners will go, I never think about how big you are anyway. You please me. You're fine. But if you don't talk about it, see how it's this silent secret. But talking about then, all of a sudden, I know in my life, it happened the same. It opened me up to actually, for me to feel more sensual and to enjoy that act better and actually to please my partner more. So again, this is all for achieving our potential. You would think, oh, it's a small thing. Oh, I'm not beautiful enough. And it's constant. It's like program 342, I'd say. Like, it's just, we all have certain ones that just constantly come up. And it's our friend. It's trying to get our attention. And when we just push it under the table and don't address it, or we beat it up, like I did for many years, like a New York attorney, like, just get out of here. I'm going to be successful. Watch, I'll show you. And then somewhere along the line, it will whack me in the head again. And, but when it happens, it's just saying, Cary, in this case, you need to believe in yourself more. That's all. You just need to trust and believe in you're okay just as who you are. And from there, everything's going to work out great. And by accepting it, you turn it around quickly and you're off and running. Okay. So this is the love of the relationship is based on the love of self, right? You can't give something you don't have. But if you're loving yourself and you're learning and you're being playful and you're accepting the rough edges about yourself, you give such an invitation to your partner to do the same. And then like two little kids with holding hands, like on the beach, you can go through life laughing and loving so much more deeply for yourself and your partner and for your family and life itself. It deepens your level of compassion so much when you can just accept whatever you are.
That was really beautiful. So for women who have been out there and have maybe they've had their heart broken, they've maybe been through something really devastating, a divorce or abandonment, or someone cheated on them or whatever. And they're maybe even in that place where I think maybe we've all been at least once, where they're feeling possibly even a little bit cynical about love, right?
Sure.
I want to acknowledge people that are in that place, because I've been there myself, where I've thought, yeah, I just can't see how, where, or when this is going to work for me. What ideas or what suggestions do you have for people that are in kind of that raw, cynical, wow, this sounds really great, but it's a bridge too far in my mind right in the moment?
Beautiful thing. The first thing I'll say, feel it. I acknowledge it. It's real. And I empathize with you. Don't try to, push it away. Don't try to, kind of like deny it. No, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Acknowledge the pain. That's the beginning. But it's not the end. And if you need help to help you go through that with some, a coach or a therapist, seek it out. because it will be time and resources and money well spent, because then you'll transform it out and then you'll have this skill and you won't be carrying it any longer, versus it can become this little thing that just sticks on you. Like you had a challenging relationship or a divorce and, oh, all men are buttheads, and it just sticks with you. And yet you're having a dueling in your heart because, oh, I'm fine. I can go on with my life, without being in a relationship, because, it's so difficult and a pain in the butt anyway to be with guys. Mm-hmm. And then there's a part of you who's like, would you let me out? Would you be honest? I really want a relationship. I want the companionship. I really want to snuggle with a guy and have this. That's true too. So it's expressing, and I get it. It life, we grow so much through pain. I know I have, it's been one of my great teachers. Mm-hmm. But the pain it's not about that you have to stay there. Acknowledge it, feel it, let it go, transform it, and welcome in the love that you're wanting to a place that you have never even gone to yet. Now, I'm going to say something here that is important to hear. Probably most of us can get picked up by a Learjet tomorrow and teach a course at Harvard or Oxford University about misery. Right? We all have these life experiences and experiences in our head, and we could probably give an amazing lecture, an amazing 8-week course on misery. Right?
Right. I know I could. Yeah, for sure. And I know I could, and that was most of my life. But most of my life, I wanted to be happy, and most of my life, I was miserable from a little kid onwards. I was shy, scared, afraid, just so full of negative thoughts. So my question is, well, Uncle Albert Einstein said, for everything that exists in the universe has its equal and opposite. So therefore, if we can teach about misery, and we can feel misery, then somewhere in us, we may not be aware of it yet. We may not even be tapping into it yet at all. But somewhere within us is if there's no bottom to the well of despair, because there isn't, right? No matter how bad life gets, you can always get worse, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if that's true, then conversely, there's no ceiling to the joy, Michelle. And this is what I'm so excited about to share with people, because this to me is what we're living for right now, is to begin to start feeling passion of levels and love and juiciness and sensuality and joy and fulfillment of levels we have yet to even experience. And it's waiting for us. It's not going to come knocking on our door, but if we go knocking on it, it's going to open up gladly. And the divine wants us to have this. And how do you do this? What's the whole point of this? Is by checking in. If you have any of these negative thoughts, these edges that have, I had a rough experience with someone, or they cheated on me, or divorce. Feel it. I'm definitely not saying run it over, but I'm also saying feel it and let it naturally unfold. Because what's happening and what I'm telling you is that life is saying, girlfriend, you're about to have more love than you've ever imagined. Are you ready? Are you willing to go there? Because if someone did those things to you and they don't appreciate you, yeah, you might have had some act, not going to get into every, the story. You might have had some part of the responsibility. But I'm just saying, if something ended not the way you wanted it to, it's life's experience, schoolhouse earth. Lick your wounds, but lick them. And then get on and get excited to have the juicy love affair of life that you want, because you're going to feel in your own life more happy, right? More sexy, more vitality, more inspiration, just even for yourself. Forget about a partner and a family and all of that. So you see how, let in that darkness, it shuts out the light, shuts out life. And again, something that, I experienced, and, with my wife passing on, I didn't know this until she passed on, of how precious life is.
It's so precious. Life is so, in some ways, people say it's so short, but it's the longest thing we do. Okay. And it is precious because none of us can guarantee we're going to wake up in the morning. So let's get on with it. I don't care if you're feeling down in the dumps right now. You can turn it around right now and begin to, by the things we're talking about, and begin and start, because life tomorrow, it can all be different. In 10 minutes, it can all be different. And just to real quick, go back to your sports analogies. How many games do we watch in sports within the last minute, within the last 5 seconds even, the game totally changes around and a team that you think is going to lose wins? And so that happens in business too. It happens in our life. If we just keep going, if we're willing to just feel and be honest and say, I want more. Please, divine, I don't even know how, but please help me. You will get the help. It will happen no matter what your circumstances are. And that to me is worth living for. Life is so precious, and it's waiting to pump it up. I call it, like the old bicycle pumps, pump up the joy. And you will just keep choosing it. Even on the most rottenest day, I choose to feel joy now for no reason at all. I just keep saying, I choose to feel joy. I choose to accept that partner who left me. And yeah, it hurts my heart, but I know I'm going to bring forth a better relationship now. Your subconscious will hear that and will get to work for you. And when you go outside and start, just being, you're going to be like a magnet. That people and men are going to be attracted to you because you're putting it out there. I'm choosing to enjoy my life. I'm choosing to love. And that there's nothing more powerful and sweet than in existence than that.
Mm. Well, that was really yummy. I was really moved and inspired by what you just said. And I really resonate with what you said. I believe there's always possibility beyond what we can see in the moment, especially in those darker moments. There's always possibility. And you and I talked a little bit, Cary. I too have that appreciation for how precious life is and what a gift it is. And I can say, even in some of the most difficult moments of my life, which also have been great teachers for me as well, there were gifts and there were lessons and there were things that I may not have been able to learn any other way. And if we can look at those things as blessings and see them not as failures or not as that things are over for us, there's still seconds on the clock left if you're still there, right? That you can still make that last layup or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're here for a reason, and I believe that we have the desires that we have for a reason. If you have that desire for a deep, loving, passionate, committed relationship, marriage, whatever it is for you, I believe you've been given that for a reason. I believe that desire has been planted in your heart for a reason, not for you to go through the rest of your life having it be unfulfilled, right?
Totally.
What do you think about that, Cary? Do you agree?
Totally. Oh, totally. And doesn't matter what your age is, 30 or 85, life and love, as long as your heart's beating, you can find someone who will meet you and love you like you never have. And that's what it's all for, to every day, just a little bit better, make your life a little bit better, a little bit richer, not necessarily in your bank account, but if that happens, great. But I mean fulfillment, that when you're on your deathbed, and hopefully you have that moment where you can actually choose it. But even not in our deathbed, it's something I contemplate almost every day, as if if today was my last day, how do I feel? Do I feel like I've accomplished the things I needed and wanted to in my day, in my life? Have I shared the amount of love that I feel in my heart with the people that I love? Have I cleared out the relationships that have been challenging? Basically, have I come to terms? And am I living fully? Am I living from fear, or am I living from my passion today, or this week, or this year? No matter what's going on. And it's a great question to ask ourselves, because then it gets us back in the gear, gets us back in the game. And there's, as long as we're breathing, there's opportunity and we can get back in the game. Failure only exists when we stop.
Mm-hmm.
Failure only exists when we stop. If we keep going, I don't care what your goal is, what you're striving for, whatever, you will achieve success in whatever it is. It may take time, but who cares? Keep going. It will happen. Nothing is in your way other than our own self and those crazy voices that are helping us try to get us to where we want to go.
Yeah, I love that perspective that they can serve us in that way, because I think it's our natural inclination to want to fight them or resist them or spiral downward with them, let them take us down into a downward spiral of more and more and more of those thoughts. And so I really appreciate what you shared about that and how we can use those as tools to our benefit, and that actually those can be turned into something so positive, the exact opposite of what they're telling us. That's really a fascinating concept.
Ah, beautiful.
So,
I just want to say one thing to that, if I could.
Yeah, of course.
Consider this, folks. You know, biting into that poison apple. What value, what gifts, what have you gotten that's been a positive from fighting them, sticking with them, and believing them? And you bite into it and you go down that well of despair and you feel that heaviness in your body. Does it bring more vitality in your life? Does it help your health? Does it help you feel more sexy? Does it help you feel like you're more inspired to put out a business idea or feel connected? Or is it all like spiraling negative? What great package, what great fringe benefits have you ever gotten by sucking on that poison apple for more than 30 seconds? I don't know about you. I've interviewed a lot of people. I've asked myself a lot, and the answer is nothing. No good has come from it. You know, positive good. So what's the point we got to feel it, but let's put it in its place and turn it over as quick as we can, because that's what it's wanting us to do. It just, we haven't known it. We haven't learned this. This is humanity 2.0. But now you've heard it. Now you just can't go on anymore. Think about it. And yeah, it may take you some time to master it. So what? But begin, because you can get out of it. And that's what it wants us to do, to get to a new place, a new horizon. Mm-hmm. So now from that place, like you felt earlier, right? When I said, Michelle, take a moment and say, I choose to feel love right now. Did you feel beautiful? More beautiful? Did you feel more glowing? Did you feel more effervescent? Did you feel maybe more juicy, sexy? Did you feel maybe more passionate? Did you feel maybe more hopeful, happy?
Mm-hmm.
Those things came, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Summer, whatever. Now that's worth hanging out with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
This system, this piece I'm telling you about, will transform depression if you choose it, okay? So from people who deal with it on a minuscule basis, just the thoughts, to people who are really haunted, it will turn it around. Okay. So I'm just saying, try, and I share with people, please don't take my word for it. Try it out. Be a scientist. Check it out on your own. See how it feels for you, because that's all that matters. You got to make it real. I'm all about results. And all about making it real, even though I could talk about love and, you know, pie in the sky stuff. I'm after, and are you feeling it? Because if you're not, something's going on. I'm not sharing the right idea with you, or you're not doing it the right way, because you got to feel it, and you will feel it. Maybe at first it's mechanical. Maybe at first all of it is just like, wow, I've been so long in this place. I'm doing those things you're sharing, Cary, and it feels so weird, but it feels mechanical. I understand. Keep going. Eventually, shortly after, you're going to start feeling the injection of love. You will. But don't take my word for it. Try it and see. And see what happens. Be the scientist of love.
Thank you so much, Cary. This has been so yummy, and I would love to talk to you all night.
I would love to do it too.
Having such a great time. It's really been so much fun to have this conversation, and I know that it's very juicy and filled with so much wisdom for the women here. And Cary, I'll let you close us out here with a closing thought.
Thank you, Michelle. And again, I really am grateful to be here today and do this with you, and just want so much success for you and what you're doing. It's such an honor, and what you're giving to the world. And that idea is for folks to consider. Ask not what your relationship can do for you. Ask what you can do for your relationship. And just think about that every day and take action upon that. And then see how that transforms your own personal life and your relationship. So
that's beautiful. And even for single people, they still can be moving into what can I do for my relationship, that relationship I dream of.
Totally. You beam it out, and you'll start, pumping that out, and you will attract the person you're wanting. Believe me, ladies, there are great guys out there who are waiting for you, but you also got to show up with your vibrancy and juiciness so you can attract them. Okay. So know that, and go get them.
Go get them.
Reel them in, baby.
Radiate that light and go get them.
Yeah.
All right, Cary. Well, it's been wonderful. Thank you again so much. And thanks again to each of you. Bye-bye for now.
Aloha.